Good evening, Mr. President, members of the council. My name is Tom Iacobucci. I'm from Amesbury. Some of you may remember me. I used to serve as a city councilor there. I also served as the secretary-treasurer of the Councilors Association. I served as vice president of that association, your professional association. I also served on the board of directors of the Mass Municipal Association, and I was a gubernatorial appointee to the Governor's Commission on Local Government. So I sit in this side of the table tonight, but I have experience sitting on your side of the table. I'm here tonight to speak in support of your REO ordinance, because I'm also the director of training for the carpenters here in Massachusetts. We currently run a training program made up of unions and 1,300 contractors of all shapes and sizes. On May 1st of this year, we graduated 52 apprentices, right over here in Southeastern Mass. We had the ceremony here. I'm blanking on the location now. 9 of those were from Fall River. I have another 51 apprentices from Local 1305 in that program right now. And that's just the Carpenters Union. Our apprenticeship program is a 4-year formalized training program. We're approved by the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Our apprentices have to do 640 hours of classroom instruction and 8,000 hours of on-the-job training. Annually, the United Brotherhood of Carpenters spends $100 million a year on training. We take training very, very seriously. These 2 books are an example of one set of manuals for an instructor to know to teach scaffolding. That's one book. That's one manual. One of my instructors is sitting in the room here tonight. He's working down here in 1305 right now. At the end of that course, when my members are done with that course, this is what they walk home with. We take serious training very, very seriously. I would challenge any one of these other apprentices to have a similar set of documents for one class. That's one training we provide. Tomorrow, Lieutenant Governor Murray is going to, I'm actually jumping the gun here. Tomorrow he's going to announce that many of the trade unions have signed an articulation agreement. What this means is we are going to take students from vocational high schools, public vocational schools, and bring them right into the apprenticeship program. Diamond Regional, here in this area, of course, will be part of that. They will have the opportunity to advance themselves through that. So we want to take kids from the communities, go to public schools, bring them right in and keep training them. We also support Jobs Corps nationally and here locally, Youth Build. We also recognize our veterans. When a veteran comes back having service, we have a program called Helmets to Hard Hats. We bring them right back into it, not just the carpenters, but all the trades in this room. We also provide continual skills training. So when you get out of the apprenticeship program, every one of our members can go back and continue to take training. And I have here, if you'd like, a copy of our fall training catalog of where we're running classes. I'm currently in the process of locating a new training center right here in Southeastern Mass. We're currently in Randolph, and we're looking at property near the intersection of 495 and 24, so it better serves the folks in this area. Okay? We are about providing skills and training to our members. Fall River residents, your constituents, so they earn decent wages and decent benefits. Why do you need a responsible employer ordinance? So that they make the contractors the city hires truly responsible. All of us as taxpayers have to live with these buildings for a very long time. We need to make sure that they are well built, will stand the test of time. So we need to better than just awarding the contract to the lowest bidder. We need to make sure that the contractors are obeying the law, treating their employees fairly. The state's prevailing wage laws leave the city liable for contractors' violations. As the customer, owner of the public construction projects, the city is ultimately responsible if any contractor or subcontractor cheats the laws. Workers on public construction projects who are cheated by unscrupulous contractors have the legal right to chase the city to be made whole. Fall River has the legal obligation to make them whole. This means you could be paying twice for the same work, and then the taxpayers of Fall River would have to wait while the state tries to enforce the laws and collect from the contractors, if they even can. An REO ordinance addresses the problems up front at the time of the awarding of the bid, as opposed to chasing the cheaters after the violations have occurred. And if there are violations, this allows the city to sue the contractors for a breach of contract, gives you a faster method for recovering money from the city, rather than wait for the state to try and recover through a prevailing wage enforcement. All an REO does is simply further define the word responsible in the phrase lowest responsible and eligible general bidder, which is the phrase used in the part of the general laws that governs selection of contractors for public constructions. Don't we, as possible owners of public buildings and possible customers, taxpayers funding these projects want the contractors working in our buildings to also be responsible. Don't we want to make sure that our school buildings are built by competent, trained workers who have a formal employee relationship with the contractor? Doesn't it matter to us? Don't we care whether the workers have appropriate training? Don't we care whether the same workers come to the project site day after day so they have opportunity to notice things and ask questions of the materials are substandard, something's being installed wrong? Don't we care whether the workers have health insurance, workers' compensation insurance? Don't all of these factors matter when you're asking questions about the quality of public construction? All we have to do is read the newspapers about public school buildings suffering from poor construction, built by contractors using illegally, poorly trained workers, yet the contractors are paid prevailing wages, as if their employees are trained. It's the taxpayers who suffer. It's the school children who suffer. The taxpayers of Fall River deserve to know their tax dollars are being used wisely. If taxpayers of Fall River understand that having more families with access to health care, a fair wage, educational opportunities are not only important to our community as a whole, but in the end, they help evaluate the standard of living for every person here in Fall River. I challenge the City Council to move Fall River forward to the bright future that we promised for generations. This ordinance is not only about morally doing the right thing, it's doing the financially right thing as well. Other communities around the country have adopted this type of ordinance, and there's no evidence that would lead to higher taxes or necessary lawsuits. It's a falsehood intended to mislead the taxpayer. Remember, the city is already required to pay the prevailing wage. The question is whether the money ends up as extra profits to an unscrupulous contractor or goes back into your residents' pockets. Some of the naysayers are saying this ordinance might not be lawful. The first such ordinance in Massachusetts was passed in 1995 in Cambridge. It was challenged and upheld by the Attorney General's office in 1996. According to my limited research, it's been adopted in Amherst, Boston, Braintree, Brockton, Chelsea, Everett, Lawrence, Lowell, Malden, New Bedford, Quincy, Revere, Salem, Springfield, Waltham, Whitman-Hansey Regional School District, Woburn, Worcester. Newton has included it in their bid documents. So if the ordinance is unlawful, it will not cost the taxpayers any more than we're already paying, but it will go a long way toward ensuring that our public construction projects are built as well as they possibly can be, ensuring that projects are built by trained, competent employees of responsible contractors, rather than being built by unscrupulous contractors who view the prevailing wage laws as an opportunity to increase their profits. Thank you for your time.